Okay. All right. So tonight we are going to be talking about how to overcome objections and create trust with your leads. You guys, I cannot emphasize how important this is because we cannot treat our leads like it's a sale that must be closed at any cost. What we have to do is we have to build long-term trust with those people. That's how you're going to get people that are going to shop with you and enroll with you and buy from you year after year after year after year because you've created trust. And so this by the end of this training, hopefully you're going to feel a lot more confident in just overcoming objections. On a scale of 1 to 10, tell me before we jump into this training, how confident do you feel in offering pharmacy to people? 0 being not confident at all, 10 plus being like totally confident. Of course, Brittany is going to be a 10. Okay, we've got 6, 6, 8, 10, 0, 6, 5, 9, 10, 4, 9, 6, 5. Okay, so we have a little bit of a variety all the way from 0 all the way up to 10. And I'm going to tell you the difference is confidence. That's what all of this boils down to is confidence. It's going to boil down to how good you feel about what we have to offer. Now, think about that number that you just wrote in the chat and ask yourself, what would need to happen for me to go from a 6 to a 10, from a 0 to a 10, from a 4 to a 10, whatever number you're at, what would it take to get you to 10, being totally confident, no matter what objection someone throws at me, like I'm gonna overcome it. What do you feel you need to increase that number?
Marianne said, "Is it depends on her day, honestly.
Well, we're all gonna have days that are,
Confidence, struggling with remembering what to say, better confidence, being consistent, realizing no is not forever." Yeah, that's such an important thing. Know what you're talking about. Well, I hope you guys all know, like, it is okay to not know everything. Like, that's very normal. No one's a robot. That makes you relatable, and it's totally okay to say, let me figure this out. I'll go get the more information. For one, especially if you're talking to someone about the opportunity, because then it makes them feel comfortable that they don't have to know everything and they can do this too, that they don't have to know every product and ingredient, that they can do this too. So not you should never feel like you have to know everything to be confident.
exactly. Okay, well, hopefully by the end of this training, you are going to feel more confident. But I will tell you the number one thing that's going to create confidence for you is going to be reps. If you're not being consistent, you are not going to develop confidence. I know personally, if I go through a little dry spell, and I know Brittany can back me up. If you go through a dry spell, don't you like just lose a little bit of that confidence? Doesn't like a little bit of that confidence, if you hadn't seen like a new enrollment in like a minute, like a little bit of that confidence will chip away. So it is going to be so important for you to be consistent. Okay. So before we dive into specific objections, because there are some very common objections that we get in the industry and in our business pharmacy specifically, we're going to set this up a little bit, okay? You don't struggle with objections because you don't know enough about the products or the compensation plan, or you're not good at sales, or you need better scripts. You guys, you have everything you need. We have all of the systems, all the processes, all of the trainings. I don't know a team that has better systems and processes than us, okay? Like seriously, like it's good. You struggle because you lose your posture, you get emotional, you feel like you need the sale too badly, and people can sense that. Like they really can. So your posture, and we'll talk about your posture in a minute, but this is the reason that you struggle with objections. Brittany and I, Tamara, that we don't struggle with objections. Do we get objections? Yes. But we know how to confidently overcome them, even if they don't directly lead to a sale. Okay, we don't let them make us spiral out of control. So you have to understand that objections are not rejections. Someone said it in the chat roll a minute ago. Objections are not, they're not a no, they're maybe not right now. And when someone has an objection, it just means that they're unsure, maybe they're scared or nervous about something, maybe they've been burned in the past, or they don't fully trust this yet. So usually an objection means they need more information. And I know that from my own personal buying experience, or I'm like, I don't know, there's this or there's that, or there's this thing, or there's that thing. And so you just have to be confident in, overcoming these objections because it's not a personal rejection. You just have to understand if someone says something about the product or the business or the industry in general, they're not rejecting you directly. And that is one thing that I think a lot of people really need to work on because they do take it so personally.
Just
Whereas, like, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like, just feeling very tied to the outcome and then allowing that to stop you. And I love that you said that objections are just a call for more information because that's literally what it is. Someone is saying no because they're lacking some type of knowledge or information. Think of things you may have said no to. And I was taught this at the very beginning, but an objection actually can be like if you think of it as almost a good thing because that means, especially when it comes to the opportunity, like that they thought about themselves doing it. So that's just that's a move forward and a step already there. Like they thought about themselves doing it and then they came up with whatever preconceived idea.
Yeah, that's actually good intel. Because it's not a no. If they're giving you any information back, other than like, no, I'm not open, then okay, thanks. We move on, right? So I really like this line. If you treat objections like combat, you lose. If you treat objections like trust tests, you win long term. And when I think about my longevity in the industry, it's because I've built trust with people. I haven't pushed people to close when they weren't ready. So posture. This is my favorite thing. Brittany and I were having a little chitty chat about this last week. I was like, we have to cover posture. Like posture is like how you stay composed. Okay. You're calm and you're confident and you're detached from the outcome. So think about your posture like this. Like obviously like your posture, you're straight up and down. When your posture is bad, you're like this. Okay. We want to stay upright. Okay. We want to stay upright. We don't want to let anyone make us go, all right. So posture says, I am good either way. Like, seriously, no pressure. I'm not desperate for a sale. I trust how this is going to work out, how it should. And I have confidence in myself and what I have to offer. So, your posture is going to be the foundation for everything. Posture will save you.
You don't need anyone. Not one person's going to make or break your business. Okay, next, I'll go talk to one of the 100 other people that I know want to be here with me. No big deal.
Exactly. So remember this, okay? The moment you lose the sales when you start getting defensive, you start over explaining, you try to win, you disregard their feelings or you shame their concern, you're not being persuasive, they're actually going to feel pressured and then it's game over. And I'm going to give you an example of a time that I did this, and this lives rent free in my mind because I'm like, why did I do that? So in my last company, I was with a company that dealt with a ton of lawsuits. There was just always nonstop drama. I was constantly putting out fires and I was living in a place of like being defensive. Like I always had to come from a place of being defensive about the products because people would literally say like, "Oh, it's going to make your hair fall out." So I was always coming from a place of feeling like I had to be defensive. And I had this one friend that I'd known for years, and she was pregnant. And it may have just been, like Marianne said, depends on the day. It may have just been, it was a bad day for me. I don't remember. This was years back. But she gave me an objection about how her doctor told her she shouldn't use anything, blah, 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 while she was pregnant. And I had like a major eye roll moment where I was just like, I can't tell you exactly what I said to her, but I got defensive, and she responded back to me with something snarky, and it just, the conversation didn't end well. And so I have never like tried to reopen the conversation with her to sell anything, because I let my emotions take over. I got defensive. And so listen, no one's perfect. And it's a learning moment for me, because I still always remember that I don't ever want to make someone feel that way, even though I know that she was being like crazy. Like, I can't use this shampoo because I'm pregnant. Like, it's shampoo. Like, okay, whatever. But I came from a place of being defensive, and so I lost. Okay, so let's just remember that we never want to start defending or over explaining or trying to win. I should have just said totally understand, uh, and like moved on. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't. Okay, so this is the framework that you need. We want to validate their concern, which I did not do in that situation. We want to clarify, we want to offer, and then we want to release. That's it. We don't want to argue with them. We don't want to convince them. We don't want to overwhelm them, and we don't want to chase them. Okay, take a picture of this if you need it. Validate, clarify, offer, and then release. So if someone says, I don't have the money, you don't want to go into, but it's only $7 to sign up. Okay. You can say things like, that makes sense. I totally get that. I'd feel the same, depending on what they say. You just never want to disregard someone's concern. Okay. So we always want to validate what it is that they're saying. And this can be in, trying to sell a lipstick, or this can be with dealing with team members. And that was something that I also had to learn the hard way through leadership, was that I had to validate people's concerns, even if sometimes I thought it was totally stupid. Okay. So we just want to always, Brittany's like, uh-huh. Like, we always want to
Well,
validate.
it's important. And so when I read that too, it really, I don't know, has anyone used the feel, felt, found method? So
Hmm.
that's kind of what I always have you heard of that too, Brooke?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is,
and so it's literally like you're validating, literally like acknowledging how they feel, and then felt, you normalize it, and then found is the overcoming part of the objection. So when I was reading it, and that's just another way too, when you're thinking of it, is you have to feel and acknowledge, like if you just push over what they're saying, like that's just going to totally turn them off. Think about how you feel when someone just totally just diminishes you. Doesn't feel good. You're not going to want to talk or deal with that person ever. Yes, feel, felt, found. So just that's a one that's like grained in my head from all the different trainings over the years, and it's because it's so simple, like everyone trains on it.
we really learned a lot from Ray Higdon, I have to
Yeah.
say. Like working with him was really, really a good
Well,
investment.
say Ray, Grant Cardone, they all have shared about that. Even when he's training, like even when it's different, not even our industry, like they use it in real estate, sales, like it literally works in any type of selling or as a leader. Totally get what you're saying. I felt with this too, but what I like so, and when Brooke says posture, if anyone got to watch Tamara's training last night, that about a leadership posture, and you, even when you're dealing with a customer who's not on your team, you still should have that leadership posture. And a leader does not react. They're not Chicken Little. The sky's not falling when something happens, when they get a rejection. It's just, okay. Okay.
Exactly. One thing is about objections is that it's really important for you to try to clarify and find out what the real objection is, because a lot of times the objection that they're telling you isn't the real objection. And so sometimes it's like kind of like peeling back the layers of an onion. And we have to be careful in how we do it. But if we learn how to navigate this, we can really uncover, okay, this is actually the real objection. They're telling me they don't have the time, or they're telling me they don't have the money. But what's really going on is that they're lacking the confidence because they don't feel that they can do what I do. They don't feel like they can be on camera. So they're in their mind, they're saying like, "Oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the money." But really, underneath it might be like a lack of confidence or something like that.
And
So
as far as money too, I think that's like a really, that's a common one. When someone tells me money, I question if I've shared the value good enough. Because when someone sees something as valuable, then money is not an objection.
exactly. So we just want to always ask those clarifying questions out of curiosity, out of service, right? Out of helping people. And I'm going to dive, we're going to go a little bit more into money here in a bit. Because money is one of the biggest objections in sales, right? Like you've got to have a credit card for a transaction to happen. And then we want to make an offer. One step, not five. That's why if you follow the systems that I've created, I make it really, really simple for you. In boards, I even created a folder that says what to say when. And you can literally boop, boop, and it's like you don't have to change anything on it. Like it's just factual. Okay, so we don't want to flood people. We don't want to info dump. You can say things like, "Do you want me to send a quick overview? Do you have time to watch a 5 minute video? Would it help you if I showed you how most people start?" Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I cannot stress to you enough how much you need to keep it simple. And that's where a lot of people go wrong is that they just start giving so much information. It's like one thing leads to another. Okay, they said this. Now I'm going to offer. Okay, now I'm going to offer. Oh, they're open. Hey, would you be open to taking a look at the video? Okay, awesome. They're open. Now I'm going to send the video. Less is
Yep.
more.
Yes.
Always remember
Keep
that.
it simple.
And then we have to release. This is truly the power move, and this is where most people fail, is that you cling. If your posture sounds like no rush at all, totally fine. If it's not for you, I'm here, when something changes, if you ever want to revisit, if your circumstances are different down the road. And then you have to mean it, okay? Because you have other conversations that are happening, and that is huge. Like you have to make sure that you're talking to other people. This is where you go wrong is you are not talking to enough people. You're not talking to enough people and your pipeline is empty. You're only talking to two people, three people, maybe. Someone's thinking about it. Someone's ghosting you. You're melting down and now you're feeling emotional. So every objection feels like a breakup. So when you keep your list full and you're talking to so many people, you're not going to spiral out of control because someone told you no or someone left you on red. I actually, when I'm like in my flow and I'm working really, really, really focused, I will be talking to so many people that I will forget, like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to follow up with this person. I forgot about this person was the lead. Like you want to have so many leads that you literally have people falling through the cracks.
And that
That
is a
just from it.
mindset. And it's in a mindset. Like, do I have an abundance mindset? Like, if you're new and you're just starting, like, there will always be someone else. There's always going to be more people. So it doesn't feel like it's the end of the world. Goal is to have more people, but if you're just starting and your list is small, know that there always is going to be more people as long as you are being consistent and doing the things.
Absolutely. So now we're going to jump into some of the top objections. Brittany, you want to talk about money?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like what I said, when someone says, read here, when someone says I don't have the money, I always definitely feel like that's just me not showing the value of what we have to offer. So I feel like the feel felt found works with that really well. Like, I totally understand how you feel. And then I can literally use my own experience when I signed up for my very first company. I really did not have the money. Like I had to borrow it from my mom, just, and I've shared that. So I can say I have, when I didn't understand the value, what I found though, if something actually works, so for us, the value is the savings in the product. What am I spending on a product? So sharing the actual value of what I would normally be spending on all my wellness at this place and all my skincare here. And that's without building a business and earning money. So, working on sharing the value really around it. A lot of people feel like they don't have the money right now, right? The economy is a little rough out there, prices are totally high. But wouldn't being able to save money and make money, that is value in it, and just that's really how I go around the money objection. Because the thing is, if something's important to someone, they will find a way. And
Right.
everyone, can you guys say if that's true for you? If something like,
Amen.
how many people will say that they're broke, but then door dashing every day of the week or going to Starbucks, like, but then they don't have enough for this. Then they don't see the value. They're not really, it's not an I don't have money problems because people find the money for the things that are important to them.
Absolutely. I just door dashed a $40 salad today. Well, I was getting my nails done and I was like, hold on, let me double click this and order it. So my salad's at my door waiting when I finish my nails. Listen, the time that we live in. And I got cherries to prep for the cherry collection that's dropping soon. I don't know if you can
Oh, that's
see.
cute.
Um, so sometimes someone truly doesn't have the money, okay? Like sometimes they just legitimately don't have it, and we can't push. They may
Right.
be lying, they may not be lying. We can try to help them find ways to find money. I started my first business by selling things on PayPal. I had $300 in my PayPal account. I just had sold some random stuff around my house. This was in 2007. My second business I started from a PayPal loan. Okay. I took out a loan on PayPal and it was $600. People can literally get a link for 20 bucks. Like they can get a link for 20 bucks and start promoting. So it doesn't cost a lot of money to start this business, but we can help them figure out ways to come up with the money. And if they're just literally like, I just don't have it, find out when they get paid, circle back on payday, and use promos. So maybe they just kind of you left it hanging or whatever. You can circle back. This is a great example. So we have the aloe. So I'm going to send someone a voice note. Hey, Jessica, I just wanted to circle back because I know the last time that we had chatted, money was an issue for you. And trust me, I get it. Like prices are crazy right now. But I did want to let you know that we actually have an aloe BOGO sale right now. And I know that you're always, you're looking out. Sorry, I'm like tripping over my words right now. Um, sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought here. But basically, I'm looking out for them because it's on sale. I'm letting you know. So I just want to let you know that aloe's on BOGO. So if you wanted to grab it and save some money, we have that promo. It ends tonight. And I'm unattached from the outcome. The how to reach out is a whole different training. But these are different things that you can do. Or one of my favorite things, and it really just depends on the person. We don't want to push, but we find out if they're open, remember? So if someone is just like, I'm broke, I'm always broke. Like, how many of you drop broke in the comments if you hear that from people? Like, where they frame it as like a chronic condition. I'll just joke around and I'll just be like straight up like, well, listen, if money's an issue, it's always going to be an issue. Like, have you ever thought about doing this for a business? Have you ever thought about doing social selling? Like, I can help you make money.
Yeah, we actually at my old company, it was I can't even remember. It's like 100, and we had like 100 ways to come up with to 100 whatever the kit was, like $129. I can't even remember, like pinned. Because again, if someone really sees the value, they're gonna do what it takes to get that money. But yeah, I had someone too. She's like, "Well, I could sign, but it would overdraft my account." And I'm like, "Oh my God, don't do that. I don't want you to start out." She's like, "But my tax return is coming." So then I put her on and I'll follow up with her, when her tax return comes in. We don't want anyone to start like going negative on their bank account if they're like that open, you know what I mean? But like Brooke said, like selling things, I did that, sell things around the house, bake sales. Like if someone really wants to, there's options if they're open. Of course, don't just share it with them, but I definitely have had people like where I would be like, hey, I had to come up with different ways. Are you open to a few different ways to earn money that we could just come up with to help you?
And do you know what I'm picking up on from just listening to Brittany talk? It's her confidence, you guys. She's confident in what she has to offer. And so that's why she doesn't shut down when someone says that they don't have money. She's immediately goes into problem solving mode. Like put on your problem solving cap. Like, okay, let's work this out. Like let me help a sister out. Like, cause I used to be broke. Brittany used to be broke. Okay, I used to be on government assistance. Brittany used to be on government assistance, and now we've made millions of dollars. We've collectively earned over $10 million. Regular, everyday people who pulled ourselves up from our bootstraps. We believe in this industry, and we've seen lots of other people have success too. You don't have to make millions of dollars to be successful in this industry.
And
Okay.
when you say that about my confidence, it also goes to like the posture, the leadership posture. Nothing's the end of the world. When you said, I'm always solution minded. So if even if I hear a problem, it almost like it annoys the shit out of my husband sometimes, but it literally like, okay, problem, what can we do? Because to me, I'm like, I don't have the time to sit there and freak out and cry or like, what's next? What can we do? You know? And that's where it comes from. And that is really just about being solution minded. Because really, like, if we're powerless over something, why would I put energy into that?
Exactly. You said I don't have time. So that's the next topic.
Yeah.
That's anyone else drop time in the comments if you get this objection. I feel like I saw someone in the waiting room. No, we're good here. Um, Drop time in the comments if here it is. If you get that objection a lot. I think honestly, I think because Brittany and I have a little bit of like rough backgrounds, like I always had to be solution oriented. I always had to like scrape by, you know? So like I almost feel like growing up poor like actually worked out well for me because I had to learn how to figure shit out. You know, like I didn't have anything like handed to me. Like I had to figure things out. My mom always taught me to be resourceful with what I had. And I think that sometimes when you come from situations like that, it does teach you to be more solution oriented, you know, versus woe is me. So I don't have the time. That's a big, big objection. And I'm going to tell you from personal experience today, I had a very busy day. We were running from appointment to appointment. Like I got a lot of stuff done today. It's the busiest day that I've had in a minute. And I was more productive than I've been because I was literally I told you I was ordering a salad from in between getting my nails done. She's like brushing off the dust, and I'm like, hold on, let me just double click this real quick. And then I'm like sending voice notes. I'm like voice noting Brittany about the training tonight. Meanwhile, I'm sending messages about the aloe and answering questions from team members and doing recognition. And I'm like, let me squeeze it in, let me squeeze it in, let me squeeze it in. And so I know Brittany likes to say that she actually loves to work with busy people.
Yeah. And the biggest thing when someone says they don't have time, I usually ask them, like, how much time do they think, it would take? You kind of, because a lot of people have like a misjudgment, not realizing that all of us are busy. Again, I understand that. But what I also was extremely busy, am extremely busy. I can list the 30 million things I always have going on when I started and now. But what I found is you get to work it in the pockets of time if it's focused and you're consistent. And then, of course, when you see earnings from that, you'll find even more time to do it. But a lot of times people just don't have like the knowledge of, they think maybe you have to have like 5 hours each day to sit down and do it. When I say no, the majority of people are busy. They have a full-time job. Very few people do this as their full time. That's the minority, okay? 99% of the people people in this business have something else going on. That's what the industry was built for. It was built to be a side to fit in those pockets. So a lot of times that is just misinformation and them not having like true, of course it has to be focused. I'm not saying, no, I only work my business third. No, but it needs to be like actual intentional, like when we're doing the power hour, getting that done every single day. But it's not like, I don't think, Brooke, do you sit down at your computer at 8 and then work straight through? No, it's just those few minutes, like cooking dinner, sending some voice message, at those types of things.
Yeah, the days that I'm busier, I actually get more things done because I think it's because you're in the flow. You're in motion. The days when I have an open calendar, I actually find it more hard to like jump start to get going. Does anyone else feel like that? Like is anyone else when you travel find that like you're getting way more done? Like, well, you're in the airport and you're like on the airplane and you're in your hotel room. Like, I don't know what it is about just being in the flow, but when you're in the flow and you're doing lots of things, it's just easier to get things done. So I actually had someone tell me that too. I'm trying to recruit someone in my hometown, and oh, she would be like amazing to work with because she knows the industry and she's really good. But she was like, I just don't think I have the time between XYZ. And I was like, totally get it. You know what they say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. So I just kind of like made a joke about it, but we'll circle back. I'll get her eventually.
I was just gonna say I always usually depending on the person make a joke too. I'm like, girl, what do you think? I'm just sitting around eating bonbons. Like I'm busy. I'm just like I love busy people. I'm very busy.
Okay, so this one, this objection, how many of you drop MLM in the comments if you get the MLM objection? Now, before we go into this, I'm going to tell you, based on your audience is going to respond differently. Brittany and I have big network marketing audiences. We have people in our audience who are naturally entrepreneurial and have done direct sales. That's just because we have cultivated our network over the years. And so we're not getting as much anti-MLM objections as maybe some of you. I'm
And
gonna
I
let
love that says release immediately because absolutely you're not going to change their mind. They're watching YouTube videos for hours. They're seeing that there is literally nothing you can say. If someone has that objection, just you're done. There's no reason to waste your energy if that is, you're not going to convince them otherwise.
yeah, like if someone's anti-MLM, if I even see them like come across my feed, I just immediately block them.
Yeah, anti-MLM, they're not going to join your team. They're not going to purchase. If anything, they'll taint your network and tell all it's just a waste. Block, release,
Yeah.
or whatever. If it's family, just don't try to even talk to them about it. There's just not, so don't waste your energy on that. And I've seen in the chats like someone sent a screenshot like this person and they gave the whole anti-MLM spiel and I'm just like, don't even respond. There's literally nothing you can say that is going to change their mind. They'll have to come up on that on their own. Like they get a kick out of you sending the messages. If anything, it's fun for them.
And there's also nothing that they could say that's going to deter us because we feel confident in what we have to offer. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Brittany's had multiple like YouTube videos made about her where they've literally picked apart every piece of her video and slammed her and all of the things. And I was like, that's amazing. Because you know why? Because that's free publicity. I'm like, keep it up.
Nope, all eyes on pharmacy, but there's literally, like Brooke said, there's nothing that they could ever say that would sway me because I have such belief in this model. I live it. I have seen the examples. I know the truth because a lot of their beliefs come out of misinformation or past poor experiences. So there's literally nothing that they could say to me that's going to change. So then you have two people on the opposite. So that's just nothing's going to come from that.
It's like politics, just
Yeah.
move on.
Yep,
Okay. So
exactly.
so the ones that we really want to focus on for this objection is not the anti-MLM people. It's the people that are maybe burned out or they had a bad experience, and but they're open.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to have empathy. We want to understand. I totally understand why you'd feel that way, and then calmly explain what's different about this business. You don't need to go into defending the entire industry. Okay.
Yeah,
But we
because
want to
the
be
biggest thing is
empathetic.
you're here with pharmacy. You might have been at a same it's like you can share the differences in what you found, but while respecting them on their journey, on their, taking their break, on their healing. What I can say is I've had people with this objection about a year ago that did end up joining 6 months later, that have now a year later start to ask me questions when back last February they just said they were done with the industry, they were burnt out, that was their last. And so again, I just was respectful while being there as a friend, checking in about life and stuff, letting them know I would love to work with them, in that way. But really, that is they're looking at you for evidence. They're looking at you to see if you're doing it, if you're committed, if you're happy. So that's how you show up for people in that bucket.
Yeah, respecting the season that they're in because some people will work. Let me know in the comments if you have ever taken a break. Drop break in the comments if you've ever like been in a company and then maybe taken a break from the industry and like now you're back. Let me see if we've got anyone that's taken a break. We were on a break. Okay. Like, they were not on a break. Okay. But, I'm definitely Team Rachel on that one. Okay. So, a few people. I took a break. I said I was never coming back. I did pure romance for 7 years. That was party plan. That was my first step into the industry. And it was a lot of out of pocket because I was going and doing parties and having to store inventory and shipping. And I enjoyed it for a season. And then I just got really burned out on just the party plan thing. And, I made a little bit, but it wasn't like really worth the exchange of the energy for me. So I got burned out. And my husband actually worked for the CEO of that company and kind of saw behind the scenes. And they were just, anyhow, let's just say it wasn't a good thing. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. Done. I'm never doing this again. I even started making content, not anti-MLM content, but content about like why women should like have their own businesses instead of doing direct sales because I just didn't believe in the model. And then a friend approached me about my last company that I was in, and I was like, but I tried the product, loved the product, and jumped back into it and went on to make millions of dollars. And imagine if she had not reached out to me because I made her millions of dollars. So you're gonna have seasons. People might have seasons, so we just want to be respectful of where they're at and not try to push if they're not open right now. Okay, this is a fun one, Brittany.
Oh
I'll let you
gosh.
talk about this one.
Why do I have to talk about this one? No, okay, so who's heard, I need to talk to my husband? Instead of rolling your eyes, obviously you ask them. I love that. Totally makes sense. What do you think he'll say? And why you ask that is because you want to hear what they've absorbed from you. And then I would say, would you be open to us doing a call together? Because so I can explain it with him, essentially. But what do you think he'll say will also give you a little, yeah, offer. I didn't even read all that. So, yeah, you'd offer a call with them so you can explain more, or with my husband. But also, like, what do you think he'll say will also give you a little more background, like, what's the background objection? Because a lot of times there is sometimes, like, I mean, I know I use my husband as an excuse for things. I don't, has anyone else like, yeah, you don't want to do something. So you're like, yeah. my husband, he made other plans, or you don't want to buy something from a salesperson. So you're like, my husband said no. So you just kind of learn. But if it's a true objection, which, yes, of course, we respect their relationship, share income, all of that. Like you just asked to, if he'd be open to a call or watching the video, because, obviously we want to make sure, since I'm just now telling you this information, that he gets all the information, yeah,
Handle
because
that so
it's
well.
exactly what you said. Most men are return on investment. They're going to ask more information. Like she might repeat different things that she absorbed versus men wanting more of the facts, numbers, and different things like that.
Yeah, and if you are currently dealing with an unsupportive husband or someone on your team, I this is something I love to make content about because when I joined my first company, it was sex toys, and my husband just basically laughed. And I went and did a couple of parties and made more, in a weekend than I did like working a whole week at. I worked at Dillard's. I worked in the cosmetic department, so I've been in the beauty industry for a really long time. And he was like, "You're not quitting your job." And I was like, "Watch me." And I basically had to prove to him that I could, make money doing this. And so men are very, money oriented. They're very results. I don't want to say money oriented because not all men are, but men are results oriented. Like they want to know what is the return on investment. Can she make money? And so if they see you spending a lot of time on your phone, i.e., away from them when they want your attention, and maybe you're not taking it seriously, um, they're not going to take it seriously. They're not going to respect it. I had a girl on my last team, and I always use her as an example because we would go to conference, and what do you do at conference? You go so you can learn. You go so you can hear from the speakers. And what did she do? She would skip the events and she would go out to the pool and or the bar and drink and then just like come to the after party. And her husband would never take the business seriously. He was a businessman and he had a strong network. And if the two of them had really teamed up, he really could have helped her build her business. But she didn't take it seriously. So he didn't take her seriously. And therefore, he didn't take the business seriously. So, and I'm not saying obviously none of you on this call would ever behave like that. I'm just saying that when you take it seriously, you treat it like a business and you make money, your husband or your partner is probably going to support it.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course you have people that your husband is going to be okay with whatever you want to do ever in life, and those are my favorite because it's so easy, And but a big thing too, though, when I've talked to people, women like that have said that a thing that's also been helpful is asking, like, would it be helpful if maybe we had an actual plan, like if they went to husband with a launch plan versus just coming with excitement about it, like, because again, men look through things through a different lens. So saying, hey, a business proposal, this is what I want to do, and this is our plan on how we would launch in the next 30 days, they seem to get behind that a lot more too.
Smart. Very, very smart. Oh my gosh, I'm not a salesperson. First of all, I love sales. I love sales, love sales, love sales because I know that sales is the only industry where you can actually scale your income. There's not another career where you are able to scale unless you're some like high level executive and then your bonuses and things are based on what? Company sales. Okay, so sales is a skill that is necessary to win in the game of life. If you have not listened to Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone, you need to immediately download that audiobook and start listening to it. If you have listened to it before and you're still not confident, you need to press play on that again. Okay, so this is just for you. This isn't for overcoming the objection. Okay. But I think for me personally, I want to teach people to embrace sales, to become a professional at sales, because when you treat it professionally, the reason people say they're not a salesperson is because they've had a bad experience with a sleazy, slimy, pushy salesperson. Like I did recently when I went to go buy some earrings, and this lady was like so pushy. I was like, I'm not buying these earrings from you. Drop bad in the comments if you've had a bad experience with a salesperson. And so people have a negative, they have just this negative perspective of sales because they think that sales is manipulating people or taking money from people that don't have it, or just they just associate it with something that's negative. Okay, so I think the first thing, especially for you, is to switch your mindset to sales being positive. I see sales as the ability to put food on the table, to keep a roof over the head, my family's head, and also to provide value to the person who's buying something from me. Remember, you can not solve their problem, whatever it is, until a transaction has happened. Oh, they need a lipstick that stays on all day that doesn't come off. They need a lip liner that doesn't come off. Did you guys see my new trick? Use this for your lip liner, just do two-tone. See, I'm selling. I'm selling you because I am sold, okay? But you cannot help them until the transaction happens. Bloated, can't take a dump, get them on aloe, okay? That you cannot help them until you have closed the sale, until the credit card has gone through and the factory starts packaging their box up and sends it to them and it arrives at their front door. You are providing them with a service, okay? Now, how you can spin it when someone says, I'm not a salesperson, is you can let them know, like, hey, you know what? When I started, I wasn't good at sales either. I learned really what we're doing is we're going on social media and we're recommending things. We're recommend, you recommend your favorite restaurants, movies, Amazon finds, coffee. It's the same thing. What
Right,
it
because I definitely never saw myself as a salesperson. So again, you get what they're saying. I never have, but anyone around me is always like, "You're such a great salesperson." I really, literally now I know. Yes, okay, I'm in sales, fine. But I what I really know is that I get excited to share things. Always have, even when I didn't make any money, even if it's a great movie, even if so. That's really what I'm doing, and so framing it as that, like being a recommender, which I love that, like it really isn't about selling for me. It's about sharing products that I already use that have helped or that I love, and then letting people decide if it's for them. But when I am excited, like I can just be like, oh my gosh, you have to go see this movie. Have you gone seen this movie? Da, da, da. Like you would think that I was like the director or whatever. That's just, my personality. Because if you want, it's better when you can just be excited together, I feel. So I feel like a lot of people don't realize, and that's why the Seller Be Sold book is so important, that everyone is selling. Some just aren't very good at it. And then if you're not, then you're going to be sold everything. But it's just, it is nice when you can get commission from it. Better. Now at this point, I don't want to share anything unless I can get commission from it. Like if someone's like,
exactly.
where your dress come from? If I can't get an affiliate link, I'm like, I don't know. Just kidding. But it does feel that way sometimes, you know what I mean? Because that's the potential of the world now. You can get a link for anything. But I'll share stuff all the time, whether I make money or not. Honestly, you guys see, like I'll show the dresses and all that kind of stuff because I just am excited, and I feel so many people are like that. You can go to the person's page that says that and probably scroll within the last week and see them share their favorite Starbucks drink or a product that they're using on their hair. Like you'll see that. And then you can use that to edify, like, really? Like, look at this post, and oh my gosh, look, some people were asking you like what it was that you ordered. Like that's an example.
And just make sure that they understand too that when they join you, they'll learn sales. Like I would say, like I said, sales is a skill that's necessary to win in life. Like when you join our team, you're actually going to learn the skill of sales, which is, and I tell people this all the time, this is going to help you in every area outside of pharmacy. I can't tell you how many people have worked with me in the past and gone on to open up some other type of business or have some other type of endeavor and said, the skills that I learned from you and Jason when I worked with you and Jason, like really helped me with opening XYZ or doing this. So I always assure people that when they partner with us, remember, be sold on the organization that you're a part of and what we have to offer here, that they're going to plug into invaluable training. And then they're going to get thousands of dollars worth of free training. So if they want to learn, if they're open to learning sales, so they can scale their income.
Let's
Like
hear.
we're going to train them on how to do that. So again, it just goes back to like when we do onboarding, we always talk about how you don't have to know everything. You don't like I can tell you when Brittany and I first started, we were ignorance on fire. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just excited about sharing the things that I was sharing, and by default of talking to enough people, I closed some sales because I was likable enough for people to just be like, okay, well, she likes it, then I'll get it. But it wasn't because I was some sort of a sales professional or expert. I became a sales professional and expert through what was the thing I talked about when we started? Reps. Okay. Reps, just like in the gym.
And confidence comes from taking the action. It doesn't ever come first, you guys. I know you wish that there was some type of tip or trick or meditation or thing. Like, no, you get confident from doing it over and over again. So, an imperfect action beats doing nothing every day of the week.
Amen, sister. I am not good on social media. So I will get drop social in the comments if you get some iteration of that objection. Like I don't want to be on social media. I keep a private account. I'm not good on social media. I don't think I could be like you. I don't know that I can do what you do. Just like sales, social media marketing is a skill. You weren't good at driving the first time you drove either. I actually got in an accident when my dad was teaching me to drive when I was 15.
Me
Okay.
too.
We have a lot of
Oh,
parallels.
that's crazy. Yeah. That
But
was one
born
of
in
his good.
Alabama.
No, I was in Missouri, but that was one of his funeral stories. Literally crashed my car when he was teaching me to drive, crashed their car. So, fun fact.
Um, so skills are not personality traits, and that's what I think so many people get twisted. Is I've heard this over and over and over where people will tell me, "Well, I can't do what you do. Like you're so extroverted, you're so good on camera," and I'm like, I've been doing this for like over 10 years. Like when my husband used to film me with the old school camcorder, I had no self-confidence. I would hide. I need to have him dig through the footage so I can show you. There's literally a video of me saying, "Hey, I told you not to film me," with my like really thick Alabama accent because we still lived there at the time, because I didn't feel good about myself. So that's probably a whole nother topic, you guys. Like if you're like, I need to really work on my self-confidence, you need to dive into personal development. You really need to dive into personal development. But skills are not personality traits. So people will say, like, I can't do what you do. I'm not extroverted. And I'm like, I'm not extroverted either. My husband is extroverted. I'm actually very introverted. If you've been around me in person, you know that unless I'm in a small group of trusted people, I tend to be much more quiet and observant. I learned how to speak on camera. And actually, it was a lifesaver for me because I get so overwhelmed in big crowds and in like in-person networking. I would prefer to be talking into a screen. I would prefer to be talking into a screen, whereas my husband is terrible on camera. When we try to do videos, he always flubs up his lines and I get so frustrated. But he's amazing and great in person and super extroverted. So be talking on camera is a skill that you learn, okay? Just like sales is a skill that you learn. And so again, you have to tell them, "Hey, listen, no worries, all good, totally understand." Most people when they start don't have any social media experience. But the good news is that you're going to plug into our free training. Both of our leaders here are social media marketing experts, and you're going to get a lot of amazing, meaty training here from multiple people on the team. Okay. Anything else to add to that one, Brittany?
No, that's exactly like I have my very first video on YouTube. Always send when someone says that and let them know 200 Facebook friends. This is what I look like when I started. They literally don't believe it. This is how I talk. This is my content and everything I've done. I have learned and even gotten better. Like if you even go back to any of my reels, even like a year, even my husband will bring it up. Even a year ago, they've improve. That's just how it works. Like you learn, you teach yourself, you tweak stuff, but it's because of learning over time. And that, so if they're open to that, like Brooke said, we have the skills to teach them. No one wakes up and is like, oh, I'm a social media rock star. Except for maybe Tamara. I'm just kidding. Is she on? Like, no, but seriously, the most people don't really like it's not a natural thing for, but like Brooke said, we have everyone here and all the support to help, even if it's helping by following and emulating, and then you have the trainings. Yeah, so Tam absolutely was terrified at the start. Exactly. That's every single person. Like, no one is a professional when they start social media. Everyone has to grow. And that's my favorite thing about the industry is it's about skill. Everything can be learned.
Absolutely. Just like overcoming this objection, I can't sell makeup. How many of you drop makeup in the comments if you've heard this objection?
So many
I
times.
don't think I could sell. I was actually surprised to get this objection as much as I have, because I am like the most terrible person at doing my makeup. I'll like I'll be doing my live video and just like talking to people while I'm doing my makeup, and I'm like, you guys have no idea what I'm doing, and I'll be like, okay, well, let's just try this brush. Well, shit, I don't have the right thing for the like. I'm like, it's a train wreck. If you watch me do my makeup, I'm not doing my makeup for technique, and I tell people that. I'm like, you're not watching me for technique. You're watching me because you like me, okay? Like, let's just be real. But I'm just recommending favorites, sharing product tips and tricks. Very few people in the company present themselves as I'm a professional makeup artist and follow me because I'm going to show you how to do your makeup like for the runway or for a beauty pageant or something like that, you know? You don't have to be makeup obsessed. I always tell people when they're like, "Oh, it's pharmacy, it's makeup, right?" I'm like, "Well, it's just a small part of what we have, it's just a small part of what we have to offer." But like when you talk about the makeup specifically, I'm like, I wouldn't consider myself a makeup person. How many of you heard that? I'm not a makeup person. I'm like, I'm not a makeup person either, but I wear makeup. It's like saying I'm not a food person, but you got to eat, like most women are going to wear makeup at least one day a week. Drop in the comments for me how many days a week do you think you put makeup on? Because for me, it's like definitely not every day.
My biggest thing is I just tell people that's okay. It's literally probably like 30% of our catalog. So you don't have to sell makeup if you really feel like you can't, Well, obviously I have the examples, but sometimes people really have that as like a non-starter and just saying, well, did you know we have scare care, hair care, wellness, self-care? So that's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah, so just know that we have so many more things to offer and that you don't have to position yourself. That's also like a good social media tip too, is to like lean into your insecurity. Like I am very insecure about putting my makeup on camera because I know that I'm terrible at it. And so I just lean into it because it's relatable, because I'm going to reach way more people who don't know how to do their makeup well then I am going to reach that small percentage of people that are like makeup professionals, It's like, oh, well, at the end, it's like, oh, well, Brooke's makeup like ended up looking like all right. So just lean into the things that you are uncomfortable with.
If you ever want a video to take off on social media, do one of you doing your makeup really bad, honestly, or like a really like just something the wrong way, because everyone's going to want to give you advice. You're going to get a lot of comments on it. And actually one of the top sellers in the company, she's on another team, she's known on TikTok with her 100,000 followers because of how she did her eyebrows, like as one unibrow, and that's how she starts. But that is literally like her claim to fame of how like her makeup looks, but then of course she fixes it all. So that's just a pro tip. Just do
I
something
came
the wrong
across
way.
that lady on TikTok and I was like, what the?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Literally. Just do it. People are gonna want to correct you. They're gonna want to say you should blend versus that. And the next thing you know, your video's taken off and someone's like, but where'd you get that? Makeup.
It was a good hook, though. I have to hand it to you. It
Yeah.
was a very good hook. Okay, I cannot stand this objection. This is like I cringe when I hear like, "Well, do you have samples?" Drop samples in the comments if people ask you for samples. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I tell them, "No, I don't have samples."
I feel like it's a generation thing, honestly. that feel like they need samples. Because I don't. I've never did, but my mom has definitely asked for samples over time.
I'm going to tell you, samples are a complete waste of time and money. They almost never convert. If you want to use samples, use things that you get PV for, like coffee sticks, um, recharge sticks, the tea sticks, anything that like the sheet mask, things like that, and use them, gift them to people that you think might be interested, or to send a gift to someone who has already purchased from
Yep.
you or
That's
something
what I
like
do
that.
for sure.
But
Someone that's already ordered, then they'll get samples because they've already ordered. So then now, like maybe they've ordered makeup or skincare, send them wellness, get them on that. But like, our return policy is fine. Like I know, and why I don't need a sample is because I know that you have to get the full experience. So like sending someone a sample of, a gummy, like you got to be taking it for a minute. You know what I mean? Or even the skincare, like you at least a week of using it. So like I just feel that I don't see how they could really convert. I never really, for our products, I just don't see them, helpful. But if they are working for you and you haven't, then keep on keeping on. And I feel like you hit the mega millions.
yeah, I do. I also think it's probably a generational thing too.
Yep.
If someone insists on samples, and I'll use this especially if they're unsure about their foundation color, and I know we have the AI tools, but I'll say, listen, just sign up, order your other things, get your 19.99 sample, your starter kit, and you're going to get the box of samples, so you get to try all the different colors. So
Yep.
when someone asks for samples, that's actually a great segue into just getting them to sign up.
I've said that like someone, do we have samples? I'm like, you can get a box of various samples for $20.
Yeah, like I'm not spending my time and my money sending samples. I did it, and I'm telling you, I did it in the past, and it just like a lot of times people don't even open them. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I lost that," or you know what, my daughter stole that, and I'm like,
You had a lady that would want samples from every rep she knew. Like there's somewhere it works. Like, there's some companies that make the pack, but again, people have to pay for the pack. So they're buying a sample pack. Then they have skin in the game. Then they're going to use like the weekly trial. That's different than I feel like what we offer.
I just say no to samples. Okay, I'm like samples are not making anyone money. Okay, so when not to close, I think is this our last slide almost. Um, we we really, our main goal is to maintain the relationship. Yes, we're closing. Yes, we want to assume the sale whenever the time is right. But we don't want to lose a relationship because we push when it's not the right time. Okay. So when they're emotional or they're defensive or they straight up say they're not open, they haven't signaled that they want the next steps. If they, like ask a question and you answer it and then they don't respond, don't be like, well, here's my link and blah, blah, blah. Like, you guys, no, we haven't gotten there yet. Okay. You don't want to try to close when you're feeling desperate or you feel like you're trying to prove something. Okay, so just remember that the long-term trust that you're going to gain with people is so much more important than this one enrollment, because it can lead to them signing up and building under you. Or, I mean, even if it is just a sale a year in the future, 2 years in the future, they're going to trust you. And that trust is what has helped me and Brittany both build the businesses that we have. So, final thoughts. Objections are not stopping you, because we all get objections every single day. It's your emotional reaction to those objections that's stopping you. So you have to stop reacting emotionally when someone gives you an objection. Just prepare to expect objections. I love it when I get an objection because this is a moment for me to make content. Truly.
But it's also a mindset as far as you guys have probably heard the go for no challenge. I am going to wake up this week and I am going to go for 100 no's. What does that mean? I am going to talk to 100 people at least. We get 100 no's, you'll probably get 10 yeses in there, and you're going to celebrate the hell out of those yeses.
That's right. So, Instead of reacting emotionally when you get objections, you want to validate. We want to stay calm. We want to ask better questions. We want to release the outcome and we want to keep talking to more people. Okay? You don't chase the clothes chases you. I can't tell you how many times I've just had someone just sign up and I'm like, oh, wow, like, okay, like I had talked to that person like 3 months ago and I hadn't heard from them, but they've been seeing my stuff. They've been seeing my stuff and I didn't push when they weren't ready. And now they signed up and now they're ready to go. Was this helpful? What was your takeaway? Did anyone have any great takeaways to share from
Any,
tonight's training?
any takeaways? Anyone gonna switch up some things, feel a little more confident, reaching out, inviting people to the opportunity calls? Like, it's not, nothing's the end of the world, guys. Worst case is you're in the exact same position you are right now. That's the literally worst case scenario. Commit to the process, detach from the outcome. Absolutely.
Reroute yourself. Go for no.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this was a little longer than our regular training, so thank you for sticking with us. I really hope that it was helpful. I hope that it helps your confidence and that you will do more outreach, more connecting with people, and feel more confident when you get an objection. And remember to use the tools that we've given you. So you have the DM Genius. How many of you are using that? In the comments, anyone using DM Genius? You guys, I spent a lot of time building this technology. It's not perfect, it's AI, but it's pretty damn good. Okay. It's pretty damn good. So if you get an objection, what do? You go to your DM Genius, and the DM Genius is set up with these guardrails in place to keep you postured and to keep you confident. Okay. All right. So make sure that you're using
Got
that
an
tool.
order. Yep, love that. You guys have all the tools, y'all. It's just at your fingertips and using them. Excited. Though, be proud of yourself for jumping on the call. You right here are already steps ahead of 99% of the other people.
Amen. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow for those of you that tune into my call at noon. I will see you at noon for our builders call. All right. Have a good night.